not kidding.
Got it. So I can.
This isn't for me. If no videos go on.
Exactly.
Yes. Feel free to chime in when I.
Yeah. We can go ahead and start the meeting. And I'll start with the script to acknowledge that we're in a remote meeting. Good morning and welcome to the February 12, 2026 City of Alameda AC Transit ILC hybrid meeting. No action shall be taken during a disruption that would prevent members of the public from offering public comments using the call-in or internet-based option. This meeting is being recorded. For the members of the public who have dialed into this meeting by telephone, you must press star 9 to raise your hand when the agenda item you would like to speak on is called, and the committee secretary will unmute you at the appropriate time and call the last 4 digits of your phone number. If you are attending the meeting via Zoom, you may use the raise your hand feature and your name will be called when it is your turn to speak. If you decide not to speak, you may dial star 9 or click lower your hand in Zoom. We request that all speakers clearly and slowly state their name for the record and make sure their location is quiet and that all other audio devices are turned off. Each speaker will be allowed 2 minutes to present their comments and will be notified when their time is up. I can now turn it over to the Vice Mayor to open the meeting. Thank you.
Okay, so agenda item 1 is roll call and welcome and introductions.
Great. I will start with the City of Alameda representatives. We have Vice Mayor Pryor.
Here.
Thank you for chairing this morning. Councilmember Dayslog.
Here.
Representing AC Transit, we have Director Young. Here. And Director Syed.
Here.
We can quickly go through staff introductions. Good morning, my name is Robert Del Rosario. I'm the Director of Service Development and Planning for AC Transit. I'll turn it over to Crystal.
Crystal Wayne, Transportation Planner with AC Transit.
Lisa Foster, Transportation Planning Manager, City of Alameda.
Maria Henderson, External Affairs Representative, Legislative Affairs Community Relations, AC Transit.
Brendan Cristalier, Engineer, Public Works Department, City of Alameda.
Sean D. Sordon, Acting Service Planning Manager, AC Transit. Will Bullery, Trends and Traffic Engineer.
And folks online, you can introduce yourselves.
Good morning, I'm Rama Pocharazu, Executive Director of Planning and Engineering, AC Transit. Steven.
Good morning, Stephen Jones, Director of Legislative Affairs, Community Relations, AC Transit. Casey.
Casey Bruno, Senior Transportation Planner. Deborah Garcia, Customer Services Manager.
And I'm Susan Davis. I manage Community Affairs for the school district.
And Tammy Kylo, Secretary to this committee.
That's it for introductions.
I'd like to also welcome, we have Board President Ryan Lalonde joining us from the Alameda Unified School District. Thank you, Ryan.
Oh, sorry. Announcements. So I don't believe there are any announcements at this time, right?
Tammy, anyone online? Public comments?
There are no public comments at this time.
All right, and then do we have public comments in the room?
Not on the agenda.
Okay. Well then.
I just want to reiterate, at 9:30, I will temporarily step out for a 10-minute phone call, but I'll be right back.
Okay, great. So now we are on to item 3. So the notes from the previous ILC meeting. This is an action item, right? Do we need to do notes? No? Oh.
Yeah, the committee doesn't take any action, so.
Great, all right.
Are there any comments on those?
Any comments on the notes? Okay. So main discussion item number 4, update of proposed ILC restructuring, AC Transit. And then we're doing the presentation and then comments?
Yes, I will take this one. Good morning again, Robert Del Rosario, Director of Service Development and Planning for AC Transit. This committee may recall that there was a presentation about a year ago on updating the parameters of the AC Transit ILC meetings. We had discussed different strategies to try to make the meetings a little bit more efficient and also acknowledging that AC Transit runs about 6 of these ILC meetings. So there were a set of parameters that ultimately the Board of Directors approved I think it's in October. which was shortly after our last ILC meeting here with the city. And so I want to give a brief update on those. Most of the parameters have stayed the same, so the structure of the meeting will stay the same, which is great. In acknowledgement of the number of meetings that we've had, and also feedback from this committee and from members of the city staff. We've kept the City of Alameda meeting on its own and not a joint meeting with Oakland or Piedmont in a direct response to the feedback that we heard. We are conducting these meetings now 3 times per year instead of 4 times per year. And then the time limit would be 90 minutes on the meeting. And also one other item that was discussed with the committee was the ability to have remote meetings potentially. Could just ease the time needed for travel to get to meetings. We're still exploring that. Alameda is not that far from AC Transit General Offices, so I think in-person meetings can still happen. But should we look at a remote option for participation of staff as well as committee members, we'll let the committee know and work that through with staff. But at this point, we're still in-person meetings. Everything else in the charter, I think, are parameters that we've used for the ILC meeting, so I won't go into those in any detail. But I do want to thank staff and city committee members for advocating for individual meetings for the city. With that, I'll take any questions or comments. Thank you.
None? Okay, moving on to item 5, ongoing construction projects in Alameda.
What will be me? Again, my name is Brendan Cristalier. I'm an engineer in the Public Works Department. Would you like me to drive, Crystal?
Yes, oh, sure.
Yes, so I'm an engineer in the Public Works Department and here to talk about our ongoing construction projects and how they might impact the AC Transit services. So this first image here is I plagiarized a map from AC Transit and added some graphics to sort of orient everyone to where these projects are located. I'm going to go from the west side of the island to the east side and then down to Bay Farm Island. So this is an overall of where everything's located. Number 1 is the Central Avenue project. Number 2 is our sanitary sewer replacement project. Number 3 is shoreline outfalls. 4 is Clement Tilden. That would probably be the most impactful one. 5 is Lincoln Park Pathway, and 6 is the annual paving program. And in the next slides, I'll go through these in more detail. So here I've taken an aerial image and with my limited graphic design abilities, tried to put the transit routes and where our projects are located. So the Central Avenue project, many people in this room have probably heard of it. It is basically goes from, what you're seeing here is the intersection of Pacific and Main and Central. This is where most of our work is focused at the moment. The project overall is 1.7 miles from this intersection all the way down to the intersection of Central and Sherman. That work from Lincoln, so approximately right here, down Central all the way to Sherman is substantially complete. With the help of Crystal with AC Transit, we've already relocated a number of bus stops, given them, fresh red curb paint and all of that. So the current impacts are to the stop and the routes that go. There is a stop here at this corner. It is out of service at the moment. It will be relocated in this direction. And then these routes that go through here have already been rerouted because this intersection has been closed for over a month at this point. As far as how long this impact will last, so the project at the beginning, the project was scheduled to end August 2026. We've pretty much been ahead of schedule the whole time. We ran into several weeks of significant rain. We're getting more rains this week. So that's pushing us out a little bit further, but we're still feeling like we're ahead of schedule and will finish ahead of that August timeline, sometime late spring, early summer. The other project you're seeing on here is, so our sanitary sewer replacement project, it's on multiple streets in the city, but this is the only location that I was able to identify that coincides with AC transit routes. And this work that's going on here, it should not impact service. While they will be doing work in the roadway, there will be flaggers, there will not be any lane closure or anything like that that will keep vehicles from going this way. Now we move down to South Shore, near the South Shore Center. This project, Shoreline Outfalls, we're basically, some of your drivers are probably aware that when it rains, Shoreline floods. And so this project is going to be installing 4 new outfalls and then rehabilitating 4 segments of existing storm drain to help alleviate the flooding that happens along here. This work is entirely on the Crown Beach area. It's not in the roadway, so we don't expect any impacts to AC Transit's activities. The only thing they may see is work trucks and things like that coming in and out of the area. Clement Tilden, so this is one that's going to be a significant impact to AC Transit. Our contractor has been in contact with AC Transit operations already. They will continue to do so throughout the duration of the project. The project is expected to go until November of this year. Right now we are in stage 1. And stage 1 basically has the one southbound lane on Tilden closed. That will be the case until we get it says mid-March here, we're now feeling more like late March, where we'll start doing some more impactful closures. Fernside will be closed as they construct this portion here. So that will require some rerouting. And then Landing, when they're constructing this portion here, that will be closed about mid-September to November. And sorry, I didn't say that out loud, but Fernside is expected to be closed late March to June. The bus stop that's here has already been demolished, and it should be reconstructed September to November. They are expecting to pour the concrete in about a month. So depending on what they have going on in the area, we might be able to temporarily open the stop back up before it's fully 100% functional, but we will continue to work with Crystal on that. Other things to talk about on this. I did want to mention that we are planning on putting changeable message signs for folks coming off of the High Street Bridge into the city, and then also people coming from Bay Farm Island over that bridge when they get to High Street and Otis, having a changeable message sign, directing folks to take High Street and Encinal as a detour, trying to keep folks from doing their normal route where they turn onto Fernside, think they can go through, oh no, I can't, now I have to go down Versailles. Trying to avoid that. So that's the plan there. Lincoln Park pathway lighting. Within the park, we're redoing most of the pathway lighting. There is no work on the roadway. There is some work on the sidewalk. So at that point, when they're doing work on the sidewalk, they may stage vehicles in the roadway, but it will not impede traffic. People will be able to get around. So that's not expected to impact AC Transit service. Our annual paving program, we are, this area, again, this is another program where it's multiple streets, but these are the streets that would impact AC Transit. Over the next month, we will be doing work in the roadway, but that work is limited to things like striping and signage, things that vehicles can be detoured around and not have to, detoured around in the same route. With flaggers and things like that. So we're not expecting any impacts as far as that goes. I will mention the resurfacing of the roadway is done, but there are a couple of areas where the contractor didn't do a good job and they're going to have to go back. But those spots are limited and again would be able to use flaggers for transit to get around that area. So those are all of the current projects, and I did want to mention an upcoming project is we've been working with Crystal and AC Transit on some temporary bus stops for Stargell, because we do have in the works basically redoing that corridor, but that's going to take some time. So there's a couple stops on Stargell that we're going to do some temporary upgrades for folks. We should be going out to get bids on that in the next month or two. And then construction should start, I would say, 2 to 3 months from now for that. And it should be a fairly quick project. So looking forward to that. Are there any questions?
I do have a question. It could be completely beyond your control and a weird question, but when you were talking about doing the signage for Otis and basically the bridges, is there a way that our phone apps for like GPS, like Waze and Google Maps, for example, get updated?
Yes. So we do routinely for all of our construction projects. There's a way that there's like an email address you can send to update Waze, and then that also gets Google, and then we can do Apple as
great.
well. So what we do is we send emails to those addresses, and they update. Yes.
Oh, great. That was my only question. All right. We're great. Okay.
I will vacate so someone else can present. We're crowded up here.
Okay. And we're on item 6. It says summary of February 2026 service change in Alameda.
I can just, there's no slide about this, but we regularly make service changes 3 to 4 times a year, and we most recently made our adjustments on February 1st to address some overcrowding that we heard about and to further increase reliability following the implementation of Realign in August. Those updates that we made respond to rider and operator feedback, as well as changing traffic conditions. Just for example, if we know there's construction happening like Brendan just talked about, we'll try to adjust to that. The changes of relevance to Alameda. So we changed line 19 slightly, so it terminates at Fruitvale BART instead of going to our AC Transit Division 4. We made some minor schedule changes on lines 30, 31, and 96. I think the biggest change for Alameda is line O. We heard a lot about the overcrowding, so we've added one morning weekday trip into San Francisco and 1 afternoon weekday trip into Fruitvale BART. So those are the changes to be aware of in Alameda for February. And it'll be, that's just the new network for now.
All right, and then I just have a question for myself. Do we, because in council we have comments after each item.
Yes, so
I
Tammy
just wanna make sure
is monitoring everything online, so you can ask Tammy if we have any comments, public comments online, or we can also ask her.
Oh, hi Tammy, do we have any public comments online?
There has been no public comments yet online,
Okay.
but I will reach out to you when I see one.
And in the room? And in the room? Okay, great. Now
It's great to see the flexibility to address and respond to the crowding. I've been hearing quite a bit about it. I'm just curious, how were we able to accommodate that, after we had just approved Realign and launched it? So do we have some savings or some new efficiencies?
I can take that. Robert Del Rosario, Director of Service Development and Planning for AC. We had looked at our extra board requirements, and for those who are not familiar with what the extra board requirements are, those are our spare operators that we have on a daily basis to cover any open pieces of work out there. And the district has made some great strides over the last couple of years, but definitely in the last year, with operator availability and attendance, and we've seen that number increase. We measure something called service operated, so that's the percentage of service that we operate on a daily basis. The district has a goal of 99.5%, but for many years we were operating in the mid-90s, and you can compare that to. You shouldn't compare that to like a test you get on a paper. That's not a great number to be missing about 5% of your service. But we've made improvements. We're not quite at the 99.5% goal yet, but we were regularly above 98%, which was great. Which then meant that we have more available extra operators that we're not needing on a daily basis. And we were able to use those operators to then make some service adjustments for the February service change, including an improvement on the O.
Wonderful. Let's hope those trends continue.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're on item 7.
A quick comment.
Sorry, sorry, Tony. Yeah.
Sorry about that. Still recovering from a cold, but I'm okay. Now, I don't know if this is a positive or a negative, so take it howsoever you want. And by the way, I meant it's not meant to be it's not a criticism. It's just a question. So as I've been taking the bus more regularly now to San Francisco, I notice that the W comes to Santa Clara and Webster Street basically at the same time that the O does. There are 3 morning runs for the W, so the first 2 morning runs basically arrive maybe at the same time that the O arrives. Mm-hmm. The third does not. There's maybe a 5-minute stagger. So the question that I just want to, would we want it to be slightly more staggered, like the third? So it's just a point. So just in case someone arrives like a little bit late, or a little bit early, they could, okay, I still have the W coming.
Yes, exactly. We could take a look at that. It might just be one of them is running late, and the schedule is just scheduled so that there's not enough. So we can take a look at that.
All right.
We should also look at the ridership, and so if not everyone can fit on the one bus, then there is some logic to having the 2 buses there at the same time. But we'd have to look at the data. Yeah. If everyone can fit, then we should try to look at staggering those trips if possible. But we'll look into it.
Yeah, because on the paper schedule, the O arrives at 6:55, and the first W arrives at 6:54.
Okay.
And then the next O at 7:25, and then the second W arrives also at 7:25.
Got it. Okay. Okay.
So, but the third one though, the third W is, there is a good stagger. So
Yeah.
just wanted to raise that.
No, that's good.
Thank you.
I keep cutting people off, so now I'm like, okay, great. Okay, great, so we are on item 7, update on supplementary service to schools.
Sean will take this. One of the things that we're doing at this next round of ILC meetings and this
That's a short term fix.
yeah,
Yeah, just type that.
staff can talk though. Yeah.
Or you can come sit
That would be great. Go ahead.
Great,
Sean.
guys. We can hear you again.
Ryan, do you want to come up to the table?
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good morning. Again, my name is Sean Diesler-Jean. I'm the Acting Service Planning Manager at AC Transit, and I'll be presenting a brief overview of the supplementary bus services within the city of Alameda. Next slide. Oh, yeah. So the big question we always hear is, well, what is supplementary service? Essentially, it's the additional bus service that AC Transit puts out on school days to meet the demand for the increased capacity at bell times. Supplementary service can take two forms. Essentially, we could have unique lines, typically numbered in a 600 series, made of segments of other routes. And then in some parts of the district, we add trips on existing local services. When we're not able to provide supplementary service everywhere, we're constrained by the resources that we have available. Every year, it seems like we're trying to do a little bit more with a little bit less. These trips are really no different than any of our other local lines. They're open to the public, including adults. And essentially, the critical piece of the service is to make sure that the trips are lined up with school bell times. We typically want to drop off at a school between 15 to 20 minutes before school, and pick up after school about 5 to 15 minutes, really depending on the size of the campus, where the proximity of the bus stop is in relation to the school. So we do vary that at different campuses. Every year, schools that have bus service coordinated with some of our schedules, whether it's local or supplementary, we try to reach out. We send a letter, via email to the schools requesting bell schedule information. That letter typically goes out, the email typically goes out in the next week or two, and we ask for the information to be submitted back to us by the first Friday of March. So it sounds like a lot of time in between March and say August, but because of our long process, everything has to be put to bed, in the next few months in order to actually implement the service in August. And really, just the bullet, the bell schedule changes. Bell schedule changes that a school makes. Say they make a change, they will at a later date. The school service is not coordinated with us. We may put out the bus, and the bus arrives after school starts or in the morning, and then in the afternoon, maybe we have the buses leave before school's out. And that's like the one thing that we really don't want to do, because then we're just wasting resources. So it's really critical that we can get that school information. And what we do ask of the schools is, if they're planning to make changes to their bell schedules, and they're not sure what the schedules are, we ask that they can give us their best guess. What's the latest time you're gonna start school, or the earliest time you're gonna start school? What's the latest time you're gonna get out? And then we try to adjust accordingly for that. And then, of course, we try to make adjustments in January in case we have a little bit too much time in between the schedules. Next slide. This is a map of the service, the various lines that we have in Alameda and some of the ridership. I do want to point out that this ridership table, there is sort of an error in this, a big error in this ridership table. It's showing that the ridership there's about 60 passengers per trip. We made a mistake when we grabbed the data. It was double counting our extra Wednesday trips. So essentially, there's probably about 300 riders per day, not 500 and 550 or whatever the total here is. It's about 300, so we operate 9 trips a day in Alameda on supplementary lines. So we're roughly in that 30 to 35 passengers per trip, which is actually pretty much a seated load on every bus. There's the various lines. The schools that do have coordinated service include Alameda High School, Island High School, Encinal Junior Senior High School, and Lincoln Middle School along Fernside. There are a couple of other schools, Academy of Alameda and Wood Middle School, that are located along some of these routes. And some of these routes are actually, some of the students do use the services, but the bell schedules may or may not be coordinated. It's really focused on the other schools that I mentioned earlier. Next slide. And then the last thing I wanted to talk about was the ACTC Student Transit Pass Program. This program started in 2017. The program has around 132 schools district-wide that are participating in the program. Within Alameda Unified, the program is offered to 6th through 12th graders, and it's a means-based program. So essentially, if students qualify for the free and reduced lunch program, they're able to get a transit pass. This is like a clipper card that'll be given to the students. It'll allow them to ride AC Transit for free, any local services in our district for free, and also give you the 50% discount on BART. For folks who don't qualify for this program, they could always apply for a youth clipper card, which gives them the reduced 50% discount on AC Transit as well as BART. And of course, students can also pay cash as well. And so that's the end of my presentation. If there's any questions, I'm here to answer.
I was gonna say, I don't have questions. I know there's gonna be comments. So I was going to, should we go online first? And then
Got some hands raised.
All right. Tammy, can we hear, and I'm sorry, who's doing the 2-minute time?
Tammy will do that.
Okay, great.
That's what we don't have.
Okay, great.
Susan, go ahead.
Thank you for that presentation. It was actually helpful from my perspective to see that map showing where all of the routes are. So I really appreciate that. I think I'm going to print it out and put it on the wall. One question I had for you when you were talking about coordinating with the schools around the bell schedules, are you having trouble getting a response from the schools in the spring about what the best bell schedules will be?
We haven't really had that difficult time in Alameda.
Okay.
All of our, we haven't had any issues where the services are scheduled incorrectly.
Perfect.
It's been pretty good over the years. I've been doing this for a number of years now, probably since 2007. So it's been a while.
Okay.
And I've been coordinating with the various school districts. So so far it's been great. But again, every year sometimes you get new principals in a school.
Yes.
Things can change, or a new principal would like to have a different schedule.
Okay.
But it has been, I was going to say, recently in the last couple of years, there was that Senate bill that passed, which changed how, it made sure that, I guess, high schools have to start by 8:30 and junior highs by 8 o'clock. And that sort of changed the flexibility, I guess, or changed how flexible schools can be.
Okay.
So it's kind of standardized that in the mornings. But yeah, we haven't had any issues over the years.
Great. Because I was going to say, if there's ever a hiccup or you're having trouble getting a hold of someone, you can contact me and I can help facilitate that.
Great, thank you.
Okay. Public comment?
Any other
board member comments? I did want to just thank Sean for the presentation and the overview, and also just thank the Alameda School District and Director Lalonde for spearheading coordination around Otis Elementary School's particular challenges that will be, coming up soon as they move to a temporary campus locally. So I really appreciate all the work that staff are doing to coordinate, to figure out, are there any adjustments we can make to help provide, to meet the students' transportation needs. So, so thank you for the efforts and leadership.
All right, moving on. Okay, we're on item 8, Park Street TSP and signal optimization.
Hopefully it doesn't.
Sure.
For the mic. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Henderson, External Affairs Representative, Legislative Affairs and Community Relations at AC Transit. I'm here with my colleague Will Buehler, Traffic Engineer at AC Transit, and Ryan Dole, Engineering Design Consultant with Kinley Horn. Today we are presenting on the Park Street Transit Signal Priority and Signal Optimization Project in the City of Alameda. This is funded by the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, MTC, Bus Accelerated Infrastructure Delivery Program, also known as Bus Aid. It is an initiative that reduces transit travel times, improves transit reliability, and emphasizes short-term, quick-build solutions at locations identified by transit operators. This project focuses on improving transit operations along the Park Street corridor between Blanding Avenue and Otis Drive through targeted signal timing upgrades, the installation of transit signal priority technology at key intersections, as well as the installation and configuration of wireless devices along the project corridor, which together serve to improve transit reliability through integrated and efficient signal operations. City staff have been involved since the launch of this project and have provided input since the beginning of design development. AC Transit staff have also provided regular updates to the City Council at the AC Transit City of Alameda ILC meetings, like the one today. Staff has also presented recently to the City of Alameda Transportation Commission at the January 28th meeting. And AC Transit staff will also keep the Mayor and City Council informed with regular project updates. I just want to take a moment to thank the City of Alameda for just being great partners to AC Transit. Next slide, please. Today, Ryan will begin with a brief overview of the project, improvements, and scope, and then cover some frequently asked project and construction questions. Will then discuss the project benefits, overall project schedule, and key milestones. Lastly, I will wrap up this presentation with resources on how the City of Alameda can stay informed and engaged throughout every step of the project. I'm going to now pass this on to Ryan, who will explain how Transit Signal Priority works and discuss the improvements in the project.
Good morning. Ryan Dole, Kinley Horn, AC Transit's engineering consultant for the project. Park Street is a 1.5 mile corridor that's served by bus lines 30 and 31, and it's designated as one of the 12 major corridors in the AC Transit District. Lanes to introduce bike lanes as well as maintain the parklets out there. But the result of the road diet has been regular congestion along the corridor, particularly during peak hours that impact overall transit as well as traffic flow. The city and AC Transit have identified these improvements to the traffic signal priority system, or otherwise TSP system, and signals as a measure to maintain transit speed and reliability. To provide a quick overview of what TSP does, there is equipment on the transit vehicle. So as the transit vehicle approaches the signalized intersection, that equipment will make a request for additional green time to the intersection using GPS and radio technology. The controller, when receiving that, may grant additional time to the movement for the bus. That time is borrowed from other unused movements at the intersection, and it's only given if there's available time. Actually, move to the next slide, please. So this project, the Park Street Transit Signal Priority Project, aims to enhance transit operations and reliability through 4 main actions. First, extending the TSP. There is existing between Landing and Central Avenue. This project will be extending it all the way to Otis. Additionally, the project will be extending wireless interconnect along the corridor. That is from Encinal to Otis to allow the signals to talk to each other and maintain coordination between them. The third element is upgrading traffic signal controller as well as wiring at the older intersection of Park Street and San Jose. That allows for the integration of the TSP and interconnect. And then lastly, the project will conduct a pre and post project evaluation to look at what the baseline and post implementation projects have done for the TSP effectiveness. So, next slide. For an overview of what the public can expect to experience during the construction of the project, we'll cover several frequently asked questions. First one, will there be closures and detours? The project does expect half-day lane closures while the work is being performed, mostly for what you see on the screen to do work overhead. But importantly, traffic will be maintained in all directions and affected lanes will be opened at the end of each workday to minimize disruption. Per the city's work permits, construction is only allowed to be performed between the hours of 8:30 and 3 p.m. outside of peak hours. At the intersection of San Jose Avenue and Park Street, closures of lanes and sidewalks are needed to complete the cabinet work as well as underground conduits. Traffic will be maintained for the roadway approaches, though flaggers may be used when alternating traffic conditions due to temporary lane closures. For sidewalk closures, an accessible detour route for pedestrians will be maintained to ensure safety around the work area. To support the construction activities, there may be some temporary no parking restrictions and bus stop relocations implemented on some blocks. Those restrictions and relocations are expected to be about a day. The second question that we normally get is what will the traffic impacts be during construction? There will be some minor traffic delays along the corridor and intersecting the side streets, primarily related to the lane closures just described. These closures are expected to be on weekdays and will avoid the peak morning and evening commute periods to reduce inconvenience for travelers. Well, nighttime closures, there will be no nighttime closures on the project. Generally, construction will occur at one intersection unless otherwise approved by city to limit impacts during construction. For construction at the San Jose Avenue intersection, signal may be temporarily put in red flashing or in stop control to facilitate the work. The third question, how long will construction take? We are expecting construction to extend over 3 months, though the active construction will be probably only more about a month, but most of the phase will be doing the programming of equipment as well as the updating of signal timing. For all construction activities, AC Transit will send out rider alerts and post notifications at the bus stops. Riders can register for rider alerts through the AC Transit website at actransit.org/subscribe. One additional frequently asked question that didn't make it on the slide, but we'd like to mention here, is if there is any TSP currently implemented in the city, and how has it affected travel times for road users. As mentioned and shown on a previous slide, there is existing on Park Street from Landing down to Central. But outside of that, AC Transit had a Line 51 project about 10 years ago that implemented TSP between Central Avenue and Willie Stargell Avenue. Post-project study for that Line 51 improvements found that Webster travel times in the commute directions was decreased by an average of 28%. Demonstrating overall benefits to both transit and general traffic through these types of projects. I'll pass it off to Will to discuss the benefits and overall schedule.
Good morning, Will Buller, traffic engineer with AC Transit. The improvements Ryan described on a previous slide will result in several key benefits for Park Street and the residents of Alameda. First, the project will improve transit reliability and efficiency by helping buses move more consistently through signalized intersections to help reduce delays and improve transit time for AC Transit buses. These reductions in delays will encourage more residents to use public transit and reduce the number of vehicles on the road. Second, transit signal priority reduces passenger delays by minimizing unnecessary stopping at red lights and providing more reliable transit pickup and drop-off times for AC Transit riders. Third, by improving traffic signal coordination, the project helps decrease corridor-wide congestion and travel times for all users, including vehicles, cyclists, and pedestrians. And finally, these improvements are designed to have minimal impact on other modes, including vehicles, pedestrians, and bicycles, as the green time needs for the transit vehicle will only be taken if green time is not needed for these other modes of transportation. The current project schedule is shown on this slide. We currently are in the design phase of the project, with the design anticipated to wrap up at the end of February, and shortly after, the project will be ready for construction contract bidding process. The construction along Park Street is anticipated to begin this spring and be completed in the summer. After construction is completed, at the end of summer of 2026, additional fine-tuning of the traffic signal timing would take place. The planned project closeout and new transit signal priority along Park Street would be ready and in use in the fall of 2026. I'll now hand it back off to Maria to discuss additional information, resources, and wrap up the presentation.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Ryan. So to stay updated on the Park Street project, we've made several resources available online. The primary hub is our project webpage on the AC Transit website. That is located at actransit.org/park-street-project. That's where you'll find the latest background and project details as they evolve. If you're looking for a quick summary, we also have fact sheets available on the website. It covers the project scope, timeline, and specific benefits that we're bringing to the corridor. We've also published an FAQ that explains exactly how transit signal priority works and why it was selected for Park Street, including details on funding and the long-term benefits to the community. Next slide, please. This concludes our presentation on the Park Street Signal Priority and Optimization Project. We appreciate your time and continued partnership as we work to improve bus service here in Alameda. You can monitor our progress through every phase of the project, again, at actransit.org/park-street-project. The site is available in English, Spanish, and Chinese. And you're also welcome to reach out to us at AC Transit by phone, postal mail, or email if you have specific questions. Thank you again, and we're happy to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, I know, I have a question, but should we go to public comment first?
Looking online, I don't see anything. No public comment online, Tammy?
That's correct. There's no public comments online.
All right, and we do have somebody in our live audience who would like to make a comment.
Hi, I'm Christy Cannon. I do work on transportation with Community Action for a Sustainable Alameda. And I'm very excited about all these projects. They're all great. And I'll just say again, as I say often, that the coordination with AC Transit in Alameda is very impressive. I'm a very well-informed transit rider. I come to a lot of meetings. I get a lot of emails. So my comment has to do with you explaining how you're communicating with transit riders. And that combined with a comment that Lisa made, our staff person, at a recent Transportation Commission meeting about construction fatigue in Alameda. And AC Transit has this project, but you're being affected by all these projects and the Oakland Alameda Access Project, which is starting soon and in about 6 months is going to have a major impact, especially on West End ridership. And so my feeling from what you said is the primary way you're going to get to people on the street that are going to get on a bus is by posting at the stops, which I think is great. I think probably most of your ridership doesn't get emails from you only because they haven't signed up, they don't know. But if you could include information on how to get to the website for the Oakland Access Project, I think that would be excellent, because people can get to computers if they have phones or not. They can use public computers. I've also noticed at the libraries, the city of Alameda has a really important flyer posted on how to use roundabouts. And so it made me realize that that's also a good place to post materials is at our libraries that are well used, and especially by transit riders, because they're very convenient to transit. Thank you.
Does anybody else want to talk first? Okay. I just had a couple of questions. One was, so there was the comparison made to the, that this is ongoing right now. There's 28% improvement on, was it Willie Stargell?
Line 51
Yeah.
project along Webster and Santa Clara.
Okay. Do we think that the results on Park Street, once we compare baseline to after this gets implemented, will be similar?
Well, we don't know because that project was longer. It also had different characteristics along that corridor. Okay. And a lot more signals. But we hope, we're hoping we'll do the best we can. There was a road diet done, as you mentioned in the project. So we're trying to get things back to normal, but we'll do the best, best.
And then when, so after everything is completely, after construction is complete, when do we look, or when do you look at results? Like 3 months, 6 months? I'm just curious.
Well, we're hoping that we can perform them very quickly. We're trying to do it so that it doesn't have an impact by other projects. So, the whole ambition is to get the project finished as quickly as possible, then do our before and after study so that we can evaluate what those results will be.
Oh, yeah, I'm just curious what the timeline of the study is. I just know if it was like 2 months or.
Oh, yeah, it only takes a couple of months. It's an on and off at this point. Didn't used to be like that, but let's give it 3 because I'm speaking for consultants that have to do all their data collection and research and write-ups and everything else.
3, okay, right? Yeah, okay. There's generally a 1 month period where you let the traffic normalize after you've implemented your new signal timing and other improvements, and then typically we'll have a couple week period of data collection and then some time to process. So that's kind of corresponds with the 3 month period after.
Oh, great. And then this is just a question I have. So I'm guessing that when the buses are going through and they're like, hey, we want a red light, but someone's cross traffic, we don't give it to them. But I'm just wondering why not? Like, why can we not have cars wait a little longer or pedestrians? Anyway, I'm just curious of why we defer.
Well, different agencies and residents feel differently about all of that.
Oh, okay.
So we've adopted a policy that accommodates the majority of all our agencies and riders.
Oh, okay.
And other traffic.
I was like that, to induce people to take public transportation. I say that now, but I'm not waiting at a light like her.
There are some agencies
Yeah.
that want us to be more aggressive about it, and others that, aren't there yet.
And then, and I really like the suggestion of putting this information on, at the bus stops and I know that you had talked about doing the different languages, is that, I didn't know if like in this communication, if like you're at the bus stop and then you can just get that information with for example, really about like QR codes, and people can just access that information quickly.
So we
in
do
different
post
languages.
the notifications at our bus stops when there's construction happening, the temporary notifications, and then we also have the rider alerts, which we send out automatically when there is construction happening. We also regularly update the project website. So those are, and we also promote information on our social media channels as needed too.
Yeah, I guess because I've ridden, usually I ride my bike to BART, so that's, where to say, oh, we're having these things and you can click on the QR code, and I just didn't know if that was, part of it was having that accessible in different languages.
The QR code?
Or it doesn't have to be a QR code, but when.
Or the information?
The information,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, okay, that was really the end of my questions, okay. And any comments or questions by anybody else?
Great project, really excited to have this corridor integrated and, complete this corridor, additional improvements.
Okay, great. We are now to status briefing items. Number 9, the free bus pass pilot program for seniors and people with disabilities.
Liz Escobar from the city is going to speak for just a few minutes on this.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Liz Escobar, and I'm the paratransit coordinator for the city of Alameda. I don't have a presentation today, but I will be providing a very brief verbal update on the program. For those of you who are not familiar with the program, this initiative is part of our commitment to enhancing mobility for older adults and people with disabilities in the city of Alameda. Looking at the ridership data from July through December of 2025, there were nearly 116,000 rides or taps recorded. This averages approximately 19,300 rides per month. Currently, we have 730 members enrolled in the bus program, which is about a 24% decrease from our enrollment at the end of last fiscal year. This number does reflect the recent deactivation of individuals who did not renew their free bus enrollment, as well as the enrollment of nearly 30 individuals from the wait list. This program continues to be extremely important. I cannot stress enough the importance of this program because even without additional public outreach, I'm consistently seeing 2 to 3 individuals come into my office every day, and that number does not include the many, many phone calls I receive daily expressing interest or questions about the program. This level of engagement clearly highlights how important this service is to our community. Just recently, I assisted a lovely 85-year-old individual who had been on the wait list for nearly a year, and she finally received her free bus pass after being cleared from the wait list. She came into my office and was in tears. She let me know that receiving this pass truly meant so much to her, not only because it allows her to attend her medical appointments, but because it gives her the freedom to finally leave her home and regain a social life. And I feel like moments like these are the type of moments that truly demonstrate the impact of this program. And I sincerely hope we can continue to sustain the program and provide these critical programs and services. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your time and continued support of this incredible program. Thank you.
Do we have any, do we ask for public comment on this?
Yeah.
Yep, any public comment? Okay.
Thanks, Liz. I have a question about the wait list currently. So it's great, 30 got moved off. Are there still a large number on the wait list? And now is there room to reach out to those given the unenrollment of folks who weren't extended?
Sure. Yes, we still have about 35 people remaining on the wait list. I guess it would just depend on the funding and our ridership. We are waiting for our latest ridership reports to see what that trend is looking like. If the cost has improved based on the lower ridership, then there may be a chance that we can accommodate those remaining folks. And Lisa, I don't know if you'd like to add more about the general fund request.
Yeah, there's a budget fix in the mid-year budget update from the city council asking for $70,000 per fiscal year to support this program to help cover the rate increase that we pay per ride, plus be able to clear this wait list. We did have some kind of logistical delays with seeing the deactivation of cards through that enrollment, so we haven't seen a whole month of data since that happened. And because these rides are unlimited and we have a limited budget, we need to see that before we can go further with the wait list to see. Because we did have some of the riders who were not using their passes, and we don't know which one was which. So there's a fair amount of uncertainty with the way this is set up in terms of managing a budget and figuring out how many people we can enroll. So we are making decisions as we get information.
I think as I mentioned at the prior meeting, as part of the regional measure, ACTC is going to be potentially having $10 million of discretionary money that should be hitting in 2027. We're making the push, certain commissioners are making a push to use that to fund free transit passes for students. It's possible that with additional advocacy, it could be expanded to seniors. I just want to put that on your radar as a potential pot of money to address some of the needs there. And I sit on the steering committee for the regional measure, and it looks like we're going to have, it looks like it's going to qualify for a ballot, so we're excited about that. So just keep an eye on that.
I would say this program has been a clear test case that it is a desired and valued service to provide free fares to older adults.
And so whoever the next mayor of Alameda is going to be, it'll be important that when you sit on ACTC, that you raise this, that person raises this as an issue of person, assuming the regional measure passes.
Well, I just want to add that it's an amazing program, and I'm very excited about it, and I'm very excited to see it expand, and that we're working towards that. Great. All right. All right. Moving on, number 10, Transportation Management Association updates. Oh, sure, of course.
Good morning, I'm Mike O'Hara. I'm the president and chair of the Alameda TMA. We're always thrilled to be here because we very much value our relationships with both the city of Alameda and AC Transit. You all do. I mean, this meeting is an excellent example of how well everything kind of works with you all. I want to introduce our new general manager, Arsh Singh Hoti, who's here to give us an update. Just wanted to introduce him. He hit the ground running with us in November and got a lot going on, and so he's here to just give you a quick update. And again, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. 3 months sort of flew by, but we've been busy at work. It's nice to see familiar faces and new faces. Just wanted to give an update as to sort of the data collection we've been doing and the expansion of the Easy Pass program that we're running. So as of April 2025, we had 2,500 Easy Passes, 2,572 to be exact. And at our most recent count, we're pushing almost 2,900, so at 2,886. It's a delta of about 314 passes. And a lot of those passes came from new housing that's being built, COOs being issued, almost 80 units in the Alameda Point area. and employers at the point that are also expanding headcount. So there are more people living and working in the Point and West Alameda in general, and they are using transit. A couple of things I wanted to bring up, some sort of kind words that I was asked to pass along, especially from our partners at APC and Building Features, who provide housing to marginalized and disabled groups of our community. They have said to me that the Easy Pass is a lifeline for their residents, and it enables them to turn their residents in the Point, which currently does not have a grocery store or other things that they would need access to, a gym, healthcare, and turns that into an easy place to live because they can hop on the 19 or the 96 and be wherever they need to be. So yeah, I really appreciate Liz and Liz's help on this, and I appreciate the partnership that we have with AC Transit as well.
All right, do we have, are we done with the presentation?
I mean, I guess can also say William Davis is also joining us here today, and he does a lot of the pass administration for us. He's on our admin staff, and I appreciate him as well. Thank you. That's a lot.
Oh, all right.
Thank you. And could we get just your name for the minutes? It's Arsh, is it?
Yeah, Arsh, A-R-S-H, Singh Hothi.
Okay, great. Thank you. Welcome.
All right, any public comments? Okay. Okay, great. I'm going to go to number 11, which is Oakland Alameda Access Project. Good one.
Lisa, do you want to start? Or we can always
I could just, use this platform to express our City of Alameda's appreciation, Alameda CTC and Caltrans for being able to change the construction plans for Webster Tube from continuous single lane closure to just overnight closures, and then in addition to shortening the expected hours from ending at 6 a.m. to 5 a.m. for the purposes of AC Transit runs. So, they have been very focused on, getting this started, focused on Webster Tube, Posey Tubes next year, and my understanding is there is no option that doesn't have a single lane continuous closure for the Posey Tube, unlike the Webster Tube, but, we will all be working together to try to keep that as low as possible. Did you wanna?
Yeah, thanks, Lisa. That's a good segue into our operations. We're working internally with staff to determine if we can put together some detour schedules as part of a potential April service change. We do have service that travels through the tube 24 hours a day. The service is, of course, much less from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m., which is when the tube will be fully closed, Webster Tube will be fully closed. So looking at what we're going to do with those trips that go through, probably detour them to the other end of the island, go through Park Street Bridge, and then come on back. We actually have a standard detour in place that we implement when there's regular maintenance on the tube. That happens also overnight. This, of course, will be for a much longer period, so we want to make sure that we're sensitive to our operations and also to the riders. As Lisa mentioned, it was a big plus for us to get the closure first, one down to full closures at night, but also controlling that span of when the construction will occur. So our main start of service is after 5 a.m. So there was an original plan for ACTC and Caltrans to actually have the tube closed until 6 a.m. They've been able to scale that back to 5 a.m. Thanks in part to advocacy from the city, and that'll work much better for our morning commute operations. So as we'll still work internally through this, but we hope to have potential changes to our schedules in April. I think the last tricky thing that we have, at least for the Webster tube closure, is when will those tubes specifically be closed, and then how that will time with our potential service change. So trying to coordinate those two things. And then there's also some, the tube is closed, I think it's Sunday nights to Thursday, or to Friday mornings. So that we have to make sure we make adjustments to our Sunday schedule, which is different from our weekday schedule, and then not make adjustments to our Friday schedule, which is also part of our weekday schedule. So it's a little bit of trickiness there that we have to work through, but we're making good progress and hope we can accommodate the closure.
Any public comment? I was just gonna say, I really appreciate, this just sounds very daunting, and you guys are doing a great job communicating, so I appreciate this. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Just to clarify, so the closure's been pushed back from, instead of starting at 5 to start at 6 a.m.? Is that what's happening?
No, it's the other way around.
Okay.
It's, the closures were originally, I believe actually it was originally like 12 to 5, midnight to 5, and then it expanded to 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. to get a full construction shift in there. And then we spoke to the project leads and told them that we have a decent amount of service that starts up between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So they scaled back the closure.
Okay.
And so everything will fully open at 5 a.m. on weekdays. There are no closures on weekends. So our service impact will be a lot less than we originally anticipated, say 6 months ago.
Excellent, thank you.
All right, item 12, AC Transit ridership and complaints with actual Ms. Bryce.
I'll go quick. Okay, so your Crystal Lane Transportation Planner, AC Transit. The agenda packet includes an attachment with the performance summary for lines operating in Alameda for September through December 2025. So this is post-realignment implementation. When looking at ridership, compared to this same time period last year, so September to December 2024, lines 20 and 21, which have since been renumbered to lines 30 and 31, are basically the same. There's not much change in ridership there. Line 19 ridership is actually up about 14% on average compared to the same time last year, which is likely related to the increased ridership the TMA just talked about, and also the housing and the employers, and also the extension of line 19 into Alameda Point. Transbay line W is also up about 6% on average compared to the same time last year, and that's probably related to the elimination of line OX. Lines 51A, 96, and O are down slightly compared to the same period in 2024. On-time performance continues to struggle on some routes. And as a reminder, for us, on-time means no more than 1 minute early or 5 minutes late. On-time performance is something that we monitor regularly, and we have an opportunity to make changes during our service changes that we talked about earlier, which occur 3 to 4 times per year. And as noted earlier, service changes were just recently implemented at the beginning of February in response to rider and operator feedback that we heard about the overcrowding and insufficient running time and other factors that can impact on-time performance. So we should see some improvement here by the next ILC. The agenda packet also includes some information about customer complaints received, which were largely around late buses, canceled trips, and a lot of the line O overcrowding, which, as mentioned earlier, is hopefully addressed with the added trips. That's it.
Sorry, any public comment? All right, any comments from anyone else? Okay, great. Well, I guess we are at item 13, which is just going over our next meetings, June 11th and October 8th.
That is correct, June 11th, October 8th.
Okay, do we have any announcements or public comments? All right, then we may adjourn.
Thank you so much, Jen.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.